are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.
32 minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Surlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings, and this is Spaceboy.
And I'm Surlana.
And we make up the dynamic duo of Spaceboy Universe. It is May 13th, and we are at Comicpolooza 2017. And that's right, we are broadcasting live right here at the George R. Brown Center. And as always, if you want to follow us, you can do so on Twitter. That's at the SB Universe. Follow Surlana at Surlana. Follow Spaceboy at Spaceboy Music. And of course, follow the network, and that's, what is it, Surlana?
SBU Network.
Perfect. As always, if you want to join all the other Space Cadets, you can do so by going to Spreaker Chat. In that Spreaker Chat, you'll find the dancing chat bubble. Go in and click that, and that'll get you in with all the cool kids. Of course, also, we're on social media, left and right, and everywhere in the universe, and that is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Just look for Spaceboy Universe. You know, Surlana, we do a live broadcast every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yes.
But we understand that people like to go to conventions, dress in cosplay, and that might keep them out pretty late in the evening. So what you can do after the live broadcast is gone and done its thing is that you can listen to us on demand. We are on Twitter. We are on, well, that's the social media, but we are on iTunes, SoundCloud,
Stitcher,
and Spreaker, which is where we broadcast. Now, I do say all these wonderful spots where you can catch the universe live, but we do more than just broadcasting live shows. We have video content from YouTube, which we do 2-Bit Gamers. We do Spaceboy Music, and a lot more content. So tune into our YouTube channel of Spaceboy Universe. Mm-hmm. Now, on that magical note, Surlana, how are you?
Well, I got a little bit of a headache.
Okay.
But I'm still having a good time.
Good.
And this is our first Comicpolooza as exhibitors.
Yes, indeed. But prior to last year, we were more press than we are actually exhibitors.
We were only here for one day.
We were only here for one day.
It was a test of endurance, and we failed.
Did we ever? I had to walk this place in the spacesuit with that helmet thing.
Well, not all day, just partial.
Well, it felt like all day, but it was pretty extensive. We worn ourselves out in one day. Luckily, this year, we've upgraded.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So,
courtesy of the event coordinator of Houston Maker Fair, giving us this lovely spot.
As we like to call him affectionately, Maker Dave.
Maker Dave, because we know a lot of
We
Daves.
know a lot of Daves and a lot of Steves in our life.
Yeah.
And so we've had to give people nicknames for the various, people Daves. So this is Maker Dave. Mm-hmm. So as far as you posted a lot of great stuff on our social media.
I have been spamming poor Comicpolooza's social media just like every 2 to 5 minutes, and then of course Houston Maker Fair's Twitter.
Well, that's good.
It's relevant
because we like to do the social media thing.
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't be the universe without broadcasting wonderful, useful information
If
to
it
the
weren't
universe.
for social media, I'd never be social.
Well, that is true. I can vouch for that. So, Surlana, as we do at the beginning of the majority of our talks, we do like a banter section of back and forth. So where shall we take the universe today as far as, before we get into a little bit more Comicpolooza stuff?
Well, before we get into the fun stuff and serious stuff or whatever, let me take a moment to be smug.
Okay.
Because I told you, I said, what if you bring your chimpanzee latex mask?
Goodness. Okay, you want me to tell you that you were right?
Yes,
okay,
on air, and I want it recorded.
Okay, it's actually being broadcast live, and it'll be backed up. But yes, you were right. The chimpanzee outfit was a winner.
Yeah,
and
because
I guess I owe you a chicken dinner out of that.
And it was just like what I had thought. Most people got it. It was more like, okay, Planet of the Apes, they evolved their own space program.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what and you went so far as to purchase ahead of time some hairy chimp.
Well, I felt like, if I was going to do a proper, astronaut, I had to get the gloves to go with it. And so as always, when I do my shopping,
the chimpanzee gloves,
I do my shopping on Amazon, and which we do a lot of shopping at because we can avoid the crowds, which is kind of funny because here we are in the middle of crowds. But I thought, hey, had some.
And you could have copped out and just worn the gloves that go with the suit.
Yeah, exactly.
No one would have known. But
so I opted for the monkey gloves.
They actually matched and looked great.
Well, I didn't purposely go out there and get like pink gorilla gloves to, mismatch or anything, So.
Yeah. So if you follow the universe at the SB Universe on Twitter, or you follow us on Instagram, which is just Spaceboy Universe on Instagram, you will see just tons and tons of this stuff. And you went out yesterday as pretty much just a straightforward astronaut as yourself with the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And then tomorrow there'll be a third iteration of this suit that will be different.
And I think there's a few people out there that kind of already know because I've worn it in Spaceboy music videos.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's going to be fun to do that because it seems like I've got the appropriate gloves to head ratio to do it.
And poor NASA, we've been down there horning in on their setup.
Well, if they've got the display, you might as well use it and kind of go from there. So, it's been nice. The monkey outfit was great. It was a good idea.
Next, we want to give a huge shout out to your friend who just came back from.
And Bob, we appreciate you helping us out.
Bob.
But no, Michelle, you've been an angel, and we appreciate all the hard work you've done today. And it's good that we're still friends after all these years. So, yeah. And
Bandera friends, huh?
Yeah, Bandera friends.
Of all the places to get from to Houston.
I like to bring this part up is that I always like meeting people that I've met through my life. And I can always tell who it is, more or less, by the way they call my name. Michelle calls me Jimmy, which that's what I was in school. And I don't have a problem still being called that. And then, of course, earlier we met some old friends of ours.
We down there that I guess you roomed with.
Yeah, and they called me James. And I guess that with each occasion, it doesn't bug me. So I like hearing Jimmy because it makes me feel young again. And then when I hear James, I think I'm in trouble with my mother. So I got to kind of worry about that. So we move on from that. Yes, thank you, Michelle.
Do you want her just to sit back and relax with us?
Yeah, just chill and relax with us, Michelle.
Pull up a chair and come sit.
So, where do we go from here, banter-wise? I know we were talking earlier today about Better Call Saul.
Right. We talked a little bit live. We didn't record that about Better Call Saul. And we're so into that TV show. And there's not a lot of TV shows you and I are watching together actively.
Well, you're not much on the TV end, but
no,
as far as
reader.
I am, I'm more on the, I'm the TV guy, and you're more the book nerd.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's fair.
And there are, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy occasional book here and there. I'm more into the audiobooks. In fact, I've been getting into a few of the Alien books that have been really quite good. The last book I read was kind of like a prequel to Aliens.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave you the backstory of all the people on that planet that end up dead and becoming aliens themselves. So I thought that was a pretty good book, but I'm really jazzed and looking forward to Alien Covenant coming out.
So here's something I just realized, because I'm not as into it and I'm not real versed. If you get the face hugger, right?
Yeah.
It puts something in you,
Right.
And it incubates its own life form in your body somehow.
Well, yeah, I guess it grows inside
And
your
it needs
stomach.
biological.
I think it's so appropriate. You got your stomach acid. They're maybe resistant to stomach acid, and so
But I was like, why can't they content with those little egg pods they make?
What?
Why do
egg
they have
poof?
to be
You mean
in
like a two-step
yeah.
process?
Why
Like
do
come
they
out
have
of
to be in people?
Well, I guess.
What's
I mean,
the
it's a good
backstory
point.
there?
I guess we owe all that to Giger.
Yeah.
With the creation of the alien and all that. And
So you're looking forward to Alien Covenant,
yes.
where we're going to see not just chest bursters, but back bursters.
Back bursters, yes. I saw a little clip of that, and that looks pretty.
And I heard that this is going to be more of a straight-up horror film.
Got to get a picture of that.
Gotta
Yeah.
get a picture of that.
So yeah, it's going to be more straight up. It's more brutal. There's some mixed reviews out there, but he apparently Scott is committed to doing 2 more. In fact, I was reading on an article on the Facebook wall that he's got the next movie planned out in about 14 months. In other words, in about 14 months, we can expect the sequel to Alien Covenant.
And not only that, but Blade Runner?
Blade Runner is just around the corner, which is supposedly a connected universe.
That's Ridley Scott's connected universe with the Alien universe? Mm-hmm. Okay. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to. And also, another thing I'm looking forward to is Guardians of the Galaxy. An interesting factoid I was reading just recently is they've already netted $500 million domestically. Day two, and they've already passed 500 million worldwide. So it's very phenomenal in the sense of getting all that money, and it looks great, as far as a movie can be. So it's just a matter of time before we go see that next week. We just had Comicpolooza duties to do and go from there.
And what, more banter?
Yes. Okay, I looked a little bit. Got a few more.
Okay, I just trying to get it, because we didn't this was sort of spontaneous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is spontaneous.
Because I kind of didn't want to leave our regular listeners hanging without something on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It just, we couldn't really do it at 9 because the exhibitor hours in before our broadcast would go live. So we had to make some modifications, and it's just you and me and Michelle here until she's got to go do her next thing.
Until she leaves us.
Because when she leaves us, we're trapped here.
Well, how about this, Surlana? I'll throw a few topics at it that we normally talk about.
Okay.
In our discussions, we've talked about, and here's a fringe science topic. In fringe science, encounter with black-eyed kids terrifies airmen at Texas military base.
That would terrify me anywhere.
Let's talk about the black-eyed kids.
Yeah, the children with the black eyes. I've heard about these for a long, long time. And every time somebody talks about having an encounter with these kids, even if they don't even come near you, it ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
creepy.
I think they've wanted to invite themselves into places, or
does that mean they're like vampires?
That's what I was getting
at.
at.
You have to invite them in before
they
can do some damage?
Exactly. So, really strangeness out there.
What is it about the concept of you must invite evil within before it can wreak havoc in your life? You have to let vampires in, and conversely, if you convert, you have to let Christ in your life. It's like you have to give permission for these things to do whatever they're going to do to you.
I guess it's one way or another. You have to invite something into your life, whether it be good or bad.
Because it's a free will thing. They can't just do it
Exactly.
whether you want to or not, though.
So, we segue from that to the Duffer Brothers had too much story to fit in Season 2 of Stranger Things.
Really?
How excited are you about Stranger Things coming up?
I'm moderately pleased.
Pleased, yes?
It'll be something to watch, but if I don't, I will continue to live my
Well,
life.
I thought you. Let me get this straight. You're still miffed about Barb, right?
Well, poor Barb. I mean, although have they not hinted there would be some kind of justice for Barb upcoming?
I believe that they were talking about justice for Barb. Another cool thing while I was out there, I saw a shirt, and somebody had a shirt and it had Barb on it, and it said Barbalicious, like in the form of Bubblelicious.
Yeah.
And it had Barb and kind of had a profile, but it was sad that that she was taken.
And she's not coming back. She's really
I think
dead.
she was taken before her time.
Yes. She was just there trying to be a good supportive friend, and next thing you know, brutally murdered
guess
by
that
an alternate dimension demon
that'll
monster.
teach you to dangle your legs over the pool while your friend is up to no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm looking forward to Stranger Things Season 2, but, hey, we need to wish Homer Simpson a happy birthday. He's 61.
He doesn't look it.
He doesn't look it.
Does not look it.
But according to an episode with his driver's license, it puts his age at 61 years old.
I wouldn't have thought they have him. I would have thought in that world he'd be like 47,
Well, I think they hover around that time, but by now the kids should have already left the house.
Yeah.
Got married, whatever,
College,
had kids, and all that. I know you're not much, like I said, on the on that end, but as far as shows are concerned, Arrested Development is going to go do a season 5, so that's going to be pretty exciting.
Never seen it.
Yeah, well, trust me, it's a good show. You should.
Makes you happy, that's fine.
If it makes me happy. Hey, Doctor Who news.
A lot of Doctor Who news here.
A lot of Doctor Who news. Apparently, John Burrowman is going to return to a brand new series of Torchwood.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, when I read that, I was really excited about that.
Can I just interrupt? There is a Left Shark cosplay coming up.
Oh, okay.
Just thought that was funny. Yeah. Oh, right there. Is that Nightcrawler?
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, Nightcrawler. So
very distracting here, by the way.
Everywhere you look, there's something new and exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, as you know, Moffat is leaving Doctor Who. And
I know that's a big deal in
so,
people's
it's going to be, from what I heard, Peter Capaldi has already did his death scene, his regeneration scene, and so he's on the way out, and I guess we're be expecting a new Doctor soon. So that's always exciting, and I can't wait for that. Let's see here. There's nothing better to start your Comicpolooza weekend than to see the chicken. Does that ring a bell?
From Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday. What was up with that? I wonder because you know how they say that if a black cat crosses your path, you have bad luck? Well, this chicken, it was a black chicken that was in our path out of nowhere downtown.
Well, we've never been through this process. This is our first year exhibiting, so they have a process here where they open up load-in times, but they have to kind of, monitor it because there's only so many spaces for parking over there and loading behind this building.
Mm-hmm.
So they had us queue up in our vehicles half-mile down the road under I-59,
mm-hmm.
and it was all very well organized. But we're sitting there under 59 in the dirt, vehicle lined up, waiting our turn to come back to George R. Brown to load.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're waiting in line in our vehicles, out of nowhere, and this is the middle of downtown Houston, there's just this random little black chicken, taking a little dirt bath. It was just happy as it can be. And I'm like, what is that chicken doing here in the middle of urban life?
Semi-surreal there looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, it actually I was getting starved because, it was taking over almost 2 hours to actually get to the loading dock. But
we knew it was going to be like that because we came an hour and a half before
mm-hmm.
it started But load-in started at like noon, and it went to almost midnight.
Picture taken there. Thank you. Let's segue into from chickens.
Darkwing.
Hey, Darkwing Duck. A little
Very
bit
distracting here, sorry.
Let's take a step back to Rick and Morty.
How many Rick and Mortys?
April 1st, season premiere.
Appropriate because we're starting to see more Rick and Morty cosplays.
Yes. So, yeah, Rick and Morty cosplay. It's hard
on our
to miss.
Twitter feed, there is a nice one. It was a family where it was Rick and Unity was the lady, and I guess maybe their son, little kid, was Morty.
So,
when is that coming back?
I think it's soon.
But people were taking them back, and I don't think they were ready for season 3
season
premiere.
Because
they did it on April 1st.
And then there's rumors that it's not even the season premiere, that it
could have been a fake out.
Just a fake out because it was April 1st. But your thoughts on the Rick and Morty franchise?
Well, it's gaining popularity, as we can see here at Comicpolooza 2017. We've seen Rick, Morty, a Unity. We saw Mr. Poopy Butthole going by somewhere. And it's a compelling show, given that it's an animation. Mm-hmm. It's on the Adult Swim part of Cartoon Network.
Right.
So you're thinking, oh, well, this is just an animation that, adults would like. Maybe not so much young kids,
right.
But they're liking it too. But it's more than just your standard cartoon, slapstick. It's got some emotion and depth.
It does have some emotional depth, and it also has a level of
heartbreak,
of intelligence, that goes deep.
It's sci-fi,
like we
adventure.
saw on the episode where going into the battery, and which is another universe,
mini-verse, and then a universe,
and it makes you wonder about Rick, why he's so distraught and so distant. Is that maybe he knows his maker, and he realizes that he's just
like the little speck in a big universe.
Right.
And there's a Gamora, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, Rick and Morty, great show. It's tops on our list to watch, and so yeah, if you can get a chance, like I'm telling people here at Comicpolooza, you should see Rick and Morty. It's a great show.
Mm-hmm. And I know, are you still doing all your little CSI stuff?
Naval CSI.
Because you got a picture with who?
Oh, the Abby Shuto lookalike. I thought that was great, and I wasn't expecting it. And I just recognized her outfit, so I had to get a picture with her.
The goth girl from CSI.
Yes, and I like that show. It's been great. In fact, I'm a binge watcher. I freely admit that.
I love it when you binge watch.
When
I
it comes
do
to
whatever
Netflix, I love to watch. Get deep into a show. And what I liked about the Naval CSI was there was practically 14 seasons to watch. So
it's almost endless.
So you figure 14 times 24 episodes in a season, and I mean.
How can they come up with so many episodes that are different? It's got to be a formula.
Well, the thing is, over the years that they've done the show, it's practically like two shows, because you've had people that have come in, a few people that have been killed, people have gone away, and so it's almost like the show has just been rebirthed and rechanged. Now
it evolves, I guess.
Exactly. Now there's some characters on there I'm like, I don't know how many more seasons they can do, because they're getting up there in age, but but it's been one of those shows that I've just enjoyed, and it's monopolized my time, and it's been perfect as far as a binge watching show. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like I've grown to know those characters, Denozo, Abby, Gibbs. I mean, all these different characters. I know you probably
I have no idea who these people are.
It's quite all right, and so I just finished that about a month and a half ago. Finally got to see Marvel's The Iron Fist, and it wasn't too bad. I've heard some people have mixed reviews about it.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
But it actually was a pretty decent show, but it's going to be leading up to, I guess, the Defender series, which has all these Netflix shows, like Luke Cage. Jessica Jones, Daredevil,
Fist, I guess.
and Iron Fist kind of teaming together and fighting crime.
Which means you'll be watching that, and I can do whatever I want.
Well, the thing I bring this up is that I watched the Marvel Iron Fist, and I did it over a weekend. So I feel like I'm a
Well, they must not had that much, huh?
Well, I feel like I'm hardcore now after watching Naval CSI, which was over like 1 million episodes. And I think that took me like 3.5 or 4 months to watch.
What was your opinion? Since there's these critics about Iron Fist, what was your honest opinion about it?
About Iron Fist? Well, I love, this goes back to when I was young and, watching sci-fi movies on Saturday, and then on Sundays they would have karate movies and kung fu movies. So I thought it was a great kind of kung fu type.
It was wrestling was on.
Yeah. So, in the morning it was Ma and Pa Kettle, but in the afternoon they'd have
cartoons,
kung
wrestling,
fu and
golf,
stuff like that.
Kung fu.
So I'm going to give it a thumbs up because it was good. Now Marvel just keeps knocking them down left and right. Speaking of Marvel, they recently decided to renew Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
the TV show?
The TV show. So there's going to be another season now. They were saying, and of course, what they canceled. You probably remember the other show called. It was something on NBC where it was this group of people in an office building that worked for like Bruce Wayne.
I didn't know that.
But anyway, it got canceled. DC
Sounds
stuff.
boring. Anyway.
Well, I guess the crowds answered with boring, and they got canceled. But the ratings were kind of similar to the Agents of Marvel S.H.I.E.L.D. But where Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. pays off is that it expands the Marvel universe. So it's like, hey, this is a write-off. We made $500 million here, $500 million there on these different Marvel movies.
They're not hurting for money.
No, man, wait. They could do the show for $13 for all they care because it's just like publicity for them. So I'm glad and happy to see that they renew that. Of course, unfortunately, they did not renew, I guess, a season or two ago, Peggy Carter, which was a shame.
because I wanted to get into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like always, we wait.
I waited to see if they're canceled. Sure did. I don't know if I get into it.
Now, we both agree that the king of cancellation is NBC. And I was looking at their NBC cancellation.
King of cancellation.
And they love to cancel. They canceled that Emerald City one that's like based on the Wizard of Oz, the gritty Wizard of Oz. And it had some potential there, but once again, just like NBC, which is an extension of, there you go, picture that, is an extension of Sci-Fi. Oh, speaking of, I got Sci-Fi news. Sci-Fi, then...
The channel Sci-Fi?
The channel Sci-Fi. They changed their branding again. It's still Sci-Fi, S-Y-F-I or thing.
F-Y.
I could think of a few other keywords. But what was interesting is listening or looking at all the comments in regards to the Sci-Fi name update. And like they waited 10 years to keep the same theme, and now the logo looks even worse than it did before.
Oh, it does?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen the logo.
It's yellow retro block writing. It's got S-Y-F-I. And so that's
Sounds stupid.
Where did the ad wizards come up with this? I
sound like Jerry Seinfeld.
As I tell you the story behind Sci-Fi when I left that channel for greener pastures is when I was into the show Stargate Universe.
Oh boy, here we go.
No relation. I was into it, and they left it at a cliffhanger, and then so Sci-Fi decided to cancel the show. And at the time, they were doing wrestling, and apparently Ghost and Goblin show. I can't think of the name right now.
Fake.
It wasn't the other guys, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, but it was all fake.
Ghost Hunters, that's what it was.
Reality shows like that.
The reality shows. But most of all, what in the heck does wrestling have to do with Sci-Fi?
Other than it's fiction?
Well, it's fiction, but it's not Sci-Fi.
Well, maybe there's science in it, but...
Science, I'm not buying it. The thing is that why am I going to turn to that channel to watch Sci-Fi when I want to watch... let me say that again. Hey, there's Rick over there. Hey, Rick! Tiny Rick! So, what am I going to... I just couldn't stand watching them anymore, Mm-hmm. And this rebranding thing, it's just proof positive. They don't really care about their audience and what their audience says. So, I go back to what I was saying earlier, that NBC stands for cancellation. If you think there's a cool show like Constantine, canceled. Even Star Trek was on NBC back in the day. What happened to them?
Canceled.
They got canceled. So NBC has this wonderful track record of canceling shows that are halfway decent.
Netflix and Amazon.
Oh, yes. And so, yeah, when Netflix came along and started doing the streaming thing, and, I mean, they have hit it out of the park. You cannot beat Netflix with a stick, 10 Ways to Sunday to Save Your Life, because they just have fabulous programming. For example, another show that I can't wait until it's released is called House of Cards.
Oh, yeah.
And see, Michelle's giving me the eyeball over there. So at least Michelle can appreciate my binge watching.
She'll put the headphones and talk to her about it.
So, yeah, House of Cards is coming out. A personal, I guess, what is it? What do they call those pleasures? Guilty pleasures. The Amazing Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
I watched that one, which she was on on Office, The Office.
Office.
Yeah, and so some great shows. But yeah, you know it, House of Cards, and then Orange is the New Black. So you got me into that one.
And then I gave up on it.
And you gave up on it, and I'm too deep into this show. I've got to keep watching it. So Orange is the New Black is coming out. And what's interesting about that particular show is, you remember we did a show a while back. There were some hackers that were threatening Netflix and
they
saying
said we're going to release
Orange is the New Black the next season
or one episode.
Or no, it was the whole episode. And so what happened was Netflix said, you can just, stick it.
They were going to ransom it, right?
They were doing a blackmail kind of situation.
Yeah.
So Netflix said, whatever. And so
they
went ahead and released it. So, it just goes to show you these hackers.
They don't negotiate with...
I guess long story short is, I really don't care if they release it. I'm still going to watch it on Netflix. I think they've done great by their programming. And Lemony Snicket's was another good one that I saw recently that I thought they did a good job on. And just one thing after another. Now, that leads me into Hulu. I've had a Hulu subscription. But compared to Netflix, I still think Netflix is king. I think that the original programming that you see on Hulu... I don't care for the way
Hulu makes you pay for it.
Still watch a commercial.
But you still have to... Yeah, I don't...
What is up with that? I mean, if I'm...
Seinfeld.
I know.
Stop that.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I can't help the fact of being getting hate on Hulu for the simple fact that if I'm paying for it, I don't want to watch a stupid commercial. The whole reason I'm paying to watch programming is to do without the commercial. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like half my life is zapped away when I'm, having to watch a commercial that is more tailored, say, for you.
Yeah. The nice thing about YouTube is if you're watching it in a web browser, you can put ad block on and you never see an ad. But then you can also pay for YouTube Red, and you'll never see another ad on your phone or your tablet, which is what we do.
Yes, indeed. So
we pretty much live an ad-free life.
For the most part, I mean, I think I occasionally still look at ads, just occasionally, and usually it's not, it's usually by accident.
I have an ad-free life because I have ad block on my web browsers, and I pay for certain music apps, and I pay for YouTube Red. So I don't have to listen to ads that have nothing to do with anything I want or need.
Well, sometimes you just get jabbed with that now. Like, for example, when you go to some of these sites that are called fake news sites, and then they push that news, it just pops up, and then you never get to see the article, or you can see like one line of the article because on your phone it's covering up pretty much 90% of your phone.
It's basically clickbait in a way.
So, yeah, those things frustrate me. Another thing I want to bring up is The Fifth Element.
Oh, yes.
Don't you want to add your 2 cents on this show?
Well, who doesn't love the movie The Fifth Element? And if you don't, you must misunderstand it or something. But this month is the 20th anniversary of the movie The Fifth Element. And Fathom Events, I think tomorrow there's a showing somewhere. If you just go to fathomevents.com, and they're going to broadcast The Fifth Element tomorrow in theaters, and I think maybe Wednesday in theaters as a special broadcast to celebrate its 20th anniversary of that movie, which is a guilty pleasure for me. It's just, silly,
Monkey
fun.
pass.
Yeah, when we got our press badge along with our exhibitor, and we were walking away from getting the press badge, I held them both and went, multi-pass.
It is a great movie. You know, and I liked Gary Oldman in it, but apparently Gary Oldman hated doing this movie.
Well, I hear Gary Oldman hates every movie he's in.
But he's such a great actor. I mean, in anything he does, I mean, whether it be Commissioner Gordon when he was in Batman to Mr. Smith in Lost in Space.
He's so versatile. I don't even know what movies he's in because I can't identify him.
He's been in a lot. And every movie that he is in, I mean, let's face it, he's no Nicolas Cage.
He blends. You don't know it's him.
Right.
You never know. I mean, you could be Gary Oldman for all I know. He's that good.
He's that good. So, but all right, Surlana, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking some more Spaceboy Universe, and we'll go from there.
This is author Gordon Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot. You're terminated. Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Surlana.
Ever seen an extraterrestrial? It can be hard to believe they exist unless you've seen one for yourself. What if I told you I've seen them my whole life, but have never had a witness who shared the encounter with me? Now, what if I told you I saw 4 of them, 2 with blue skin, and there are over 20 witnesses to this CE5 event? My new book, The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, documents actual accounts from real witnesses, many of which have gone on record to attest to this otherworldly reality. Be a part of the quantum paradigm shift that is taking place right now. Go to johnpolkmedia.com to get your copy of The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, on sale right now at johnpolkmedia.com. That's JOHNPOLK media.com.
Hello Space Cadets. It is announcer Savannah. I want to tell you that as a dedicated member of the SBU team, you always want to look your best. Do it in a Spaceboy Universe t-shirt. Get yours at spaceboyuniverse.com by clicking the banner on the website.
Greetings, Space Cadets! Let's see what's in the sky tonight in the Spaceboy Universe. Tonight, in the eastern sky, we have Spaceboy Universe rising above the horizon in glorious splendor. And in the west, we can see Surlanus Majoris, which is visible at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, just below the K28 belt. So keep your eyes on the sky and listen to Spaceboy Universe.
Hard rock cafe. Awesome. We can do that.
Welcome back, everyone. We are Spaceboy Universe. You can find us on the old interwebs at spaceboyuniverse.com. We do a live show every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Here in Houston.
Here in Houston, Texas. We are proud to support the Space City, Houston, that we love and embrace every day as we travel down I-10 to go to work in traffic. But that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
So, Surlana, Comicpolooza.
Comicpolooza 2017. We're here, we're live, and there's one of our favorite people.
Hey! So, where do we start as far as how it's been progressing so far?
Well, our lovely friend and help we're having today, Michelle, told us that there are protesters right now outside the George R. Brown saying that we're all sinners.
Okay.
And we're going to hell.
Well, if
Anybody have a comment on that? Want to come in? Want to come in?
Okay. We are live.
Come on in. What do you think about that? What's your opinion about that, guys? The protesters. The protesters are outside George R. Brown right now.
See, they're the ones spreading the plague amongst us.
Yes, the doctor.
I have an opinion on it.
Yes, what is it? Tell me.
My opinion is that it's really bad that the Ottawa Senators were able to eliminate the New York Rangers in 6 games when they were clearly the better team throughout the whole series. Okay? And the Ottawa Senators are now facing the Pittsburgh Penguins. I hope they get swept in 4 games.
Well, there you go.
Hold on. What is this about again?
Well, we were talking about the people outside protesting, but
What are they supposed to do?
They're saying we're sinners.
Yeah. I have opinions.
As long as you keep it PG, no swearing.
Okay, people are lining up.
I don't think we're swearing.
Okay.
I don't think we're sinners. We're not sinners. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, sorry. Here, Alyssa, you say something.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
We're not sinners. I don't think so. At least most of us aren't. Most of us are children.
But you're enjoying your day here?
Yeah, we're enjoying ourselves. Well, most of us are children, so I'm pretty sure we're not sinners. So have fun, you adults. Have fun.
Okay, so interesting stuff happening here at Comicpolooza, and
I have a comment.
Okay.
All right. My take about this, those protesters outside, they are a bunch of idiots. They have, first of all, it's one thing to protest, but what they're doing is at 100% wrong. So what I do, for the rest of what they're doing is they're having a good time. At first I want to go out and confront them, but my brain said to me, no, let it go. You're here to have a good time. I've been here for about 5 times in a row. I've been here for 5 times. And you know what? I'm here to have a great time. I don't want to see anyone get in a big hissy fit or anything like that. And so what the protesters do is leave and let them have a great time. That is how I feel about that. So if I see the protesters, I would tell them to shut up and go away, period.
Well, thank you.
Make sure you get one of our flyers. We're going to talk about it next week.
So there you go, another valid opinion. Now, Surlana, yeah, got you back.
Am I here? Okay.
And we're going to need to do a post-talking meeting.
Our friend says that there are police outside the center watching the protesters, keeping their eye out. There's lots of them. Mm-hmm. So I almost want to run out there and look.
Okay. Talk about stirring the pot of Comicpolooza.
I just want to look, you know.
Now, the thing is...
You could do it from the second floor.
Okay, so the thing is that I have created this broadcast to let everybody have a voice and an opinion. So everyone is entitled to their opinion until you tread on that other person.
Yeah.
So as we move on...
A lot of people feel strongly about that.
Yes, and thank you for flaming the fire on that one.
Hey, it's interesting. It's interesting.
So, Comicpolooza.
Yeah. We're having just too much fun, and as my friend tries to call me.
Yeah, you don't know whether to do. Well, answer it. I mean, you're on a. I'm going to mute you down. So anyway, fascinating stuff here at Comicpolooza. As I tried to bring up my notes, and Surlana walks away from a live broadcast, and so Michelle, you want to come over here? Michelle has been our angel here as far as helping us out and doing all sorts of things. Michelle.
Hi.
How are you, dear?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fantastic. So, how do I know you, Michelle?
We went to high school together in Bandera, Texas.
So, I'm glad we're finally having this conversation because I'm the kind of person that, I like to know, how was I kind of as a person back then? Did I kind of blow you off, or was
No, actually a lot like you are now. Really, really nice and open and genuine. For real.
Well, I'm glad some things haven't changed. I know I can be a diva sometimes, but
especially on that piano.
Oh yeah, I love doing the piano stuff. And did we have classes together? I'm trying to think of.
No, you were a year ahead of me, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were in the lower class. You were probably in your sophomore year, maybe.
I actually didn't come to Bandera until my junior year.
Really?
Yeah.
And I made an impression on you that much.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. It really warms my heart that that somebody actually did think I was cool in some way.
Absolutely.
I felt like I had gone from the big city to go to Bandera to go to school, which ended up graduating with 80 people in my class, compared to a school that I was at that had close to 1,200.
Yeah.
And so it's quite a different atmosphere. But what I liked about Bandera, Texas, is that it was just everybody knew everybody.
Yeah, they did.
And I tell you kind of making me go down memory lane is that my grandmother, she used to operate the cleaners in town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so did I lose you, or are you still there?
Am I not loud enough?
Yeah, there you go. You're too soft-spoken. Don't let me overrun you. So one of the stories is that my grandmother knew everyone in town. And when I say everyone, I mean like even the DPS officers and everything. So I had 2 incidents with the DPS officers. One incident, I was coming back from Helotes. Mm-hmm. And of all things, I had gone to pick up a report about me speeding. And, Helotes to back to Bandera, so I got pulled over by a DPS officer on my way back from the DPS office. And he said, son, are you in a hurry to get somewhere? And I said, yeah. I'm late to pick up my grandmother in Bandera. And he said, oh, who's your grandmother? And I said, yeah, my grandma, her name is Hank. And he's, Hank? And it's like, yeah. And he said, all right, I'm going to let you go, but you need to, just slow down and make sure you tell your grandmother I said hello. So I got out of that ticket, thank God. And then there was the other time when I had to take my driver's test. Mm-hmm. So that was like before that incident, way back. And I finished the test, and I was in my grandmother's big Cadillac. And the thing was that I was like 18 inches away from parallel parking, and obviously it would have been a fail. And once again, the guy knew my grandmother before we, because she took me up there to do the driver's thing. And when we finished the test, he said, you're not going to be driving your grandmother's car, are you? And I said, no, sir. And he said, pass. And he passed me for my driver's test. So, lots of fun stuff there in Bandera, Texas. And then, of course, some sad things that happened. Did you know John Malia?
Yes.
Passed away.
Yes.
And
I actually saw him a few years ago.
Yeah, I got to see him too. Drove up to Bandera just to go check him out and say hello. We ate at the OST.
Oh, I remember that. I remember hearing about you going up there.
And so it was just, sad. I guess as they go to show, when it's your time, it's your time. And a lot of fond memories I had of John back in the day in high school, and we did a lot of things together. And him and Roger Reisner was another person that who married a sweetheart, and which I still follow her. He's not much on the social media. It's probably for the best, But a lot of good times, and I've often felt like, I can see myself going back to retire in Bandera or something out there.
It's beautiful there.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Just lots of fond memories there. And then plus, one thing I loved about Bandera is at night, living off of Wharton's Dock Road, is the sky.
Yeah.
There's no noise. When I say noise pollution, I mean pretty much light pollution.
Light pollution.
Yeah, no light
You
pollution.
can actually see the
You
Milky
can see
Way.
the stars and the Milky Way, and it's really quite something to see. And I encourage anybody out there that has never been out to the Hill Country should definitely check out Bandera.
Absolutely, it's a very cool little town.
Yeah,
very cool.
So, were you there when they had the horse races?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And let's see, I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, that town has really changed dramatically, since we were kids.
Sure.
And there's so much more there. And I get the bikes, the motorbikes that come in and out of there, which is, I wished I was there when it was heavy like that, because I'm definitely, my father, and this is how I go from one tangent to another, he was a biker. And I was telling you earlier, he was a tattoo artist,
yeah, I
too.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's strange things that... and I got my tattoo just as an honor, And
did you get Dad give you
that
tattoo?
that. No, he didn't give it to me, but my tattoo is a symbol of truth.
Cool.
And I felt like, and especially as I've gotten older, I feel like it's important to be truthful. I guess it's because I feel like my time is running out, and I want to be as brutally honest as I can. And I always tell people, look, you'll always get the truth from me, whether it be good or bad, but at least you'll know where you stand, and you won't have to put up with the BS of guessing, games or whatever. And so I try to convey that in everything. And I guess as you've known me since I was a kid, I kind of still hold true to those same simple values, just to be, nice, truthful, and as you put it earlier,
Genuine.
Genuine. Exactly. I don't have time to be fake, and I just want to be who I am. And hey, there you go. Appreciate it. Thank you. And that's what I am. And this also goes into, like, for example, I listen to everybody, what they have to say. I may not agree with what you have to say, but at the end of the day, I let you say what you have to say, and at least we can meet on other things that are of value. Like I may not I don't like tattoos, but you're in a roller derby, and I think, wow, that is fascinating. So we make a connection on that.
Sure.
Obviously, I do like your tattoos.
Do you know what it's from?
No, tell me.
So, I'm going to give you a hint. Carl Sagan. That's the first hint.
All right.
Second hint is Jodie Foster.
Oh, from don't tell me.
Third hint is Matthew McConaughey.
I know the movie, and I can't. Contact.
Contact.
Yes.
This is the end scene where she's
talking to her dad, or the alien dad, or whatever.
Yeah, and she's on that beautiful beach.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. So I mentioned roller derby.
Yes.
And how did you get into roller derby?
Oh, gosh. I'm actually old enough that I remember watching it on TV as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it went away, and it became kind of this weird fake WWE type thing.
Right.
And when I grew up, I then heard that some girls had started some leagues out in Austin, and they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, that's really cool. And then I heard there was a team playing here in Houston. I said, I have got to go check that out. And as soon as I walked in and I looked around, I said, these are my people. This is where I belong. And I never looked back.
And when did you come to Houston?
When did I come to Houston?
Yeah,
after Bandera?
After Bandera,
Immediately after, maybe about 9 months after graduation.
So you figure, like, okay, I've had enough of Bandera, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And then the thing is that, not to badmouth Bandera, because it's a lovely place.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
But as a young person, there wasn't really much for us to do.
Wasn't much to do.
Yeah.
Drag main.
Yeah. Whether it be tipping cows or, or just whatever you could do out there. But, like you, I immediately left and went to Georgia to live with my mom for a while.
Yeah.
But then I came back because I couldn't. I know this is going to be terrible. I couldn't stand Georgia. Please forgive me, Georgians. But you're a Georgian. I'm Texan. I can't take the Texan out of me.
No.
And so I came back, and in the process, I went to live with my sister here in Houston.
Cool.
And so that's
how
how
you got here.
That's how it all. There's another longtime friend, the Picard double look-alike over there, Max. So just wonderful. Getting out of the country, so to speak, but into the city. But I think at some point at my time, and I could see it in the near future, not so near like years, but years, of return to a simple life.
Yeah.
I've had the complicated, busy, strange life, and I'm looking forward to the nice, quiet life and looking at the stars. And
getting back to seeing the Milky Way again.
Exactly.
You can't see it here.
That is so right. Hey, Max, you want to... yeah, so... thank you, Michelle,
Thank you.
You've been a wonderful and
I've had
you
so much fun with y'all today.
You give such the best hugs. In fact, you gave me a chiropractic realignment yesterday
Yay!
that worked for me. So good stuff. And so thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Go ahead, Max. Step over here.
Actually, I don't have a lot of time. I've got to go to work, but
That's
just a little bit.
Slap on the old headphones. First.
Is this thing on?
Oh God, Max. Put the things on.
Actually, I don't have a lot of time because I have to head back to work.
Put them on for 5 minutes. It won't kill you. 5 minutes of your time, Max.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
So, Max, how are you, sir?
I can't complain. I'm working a lot, so but just thought I'd stop through here and see what else going on here. So, good to see you.
I'm surprised you're not doing any of the Picard or the.
Yeah, I'm actually just working a lot at night, so it's like I just try to squeeze in a few minutes here to come by and see what else is going on.
Well,
So-
it's good to see you. You want to tell our audience and let in a secret on how we met?
No.
No, you don't? No? Okay.
We'll pass on that.
Okay, we'll pass on that.
What was it, Sam's Club?
It was Sam's Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We worked at Sam's Club together and built a friendship from there. We were short-time roommates for a while.
Yep.
I left, and that was about the time I left to go to Dallas, I think it was.
I wasn't wherever you went.
I went
after that.
somewhere out in the
Okay.
universe.
Okay.
But I guess over the years, especially as Facebook came along, we kind of rekindled our friendship.
Yep.
We did some videos to get music video.
Those are fun. Those are fun. We need to do that again.
We definitely do.
Pop out the green screen and bring out some more costumes.
So, anything that you want to just tell our audience that you know about me, or I'm not worried about.
I'd imagine your audience probably knows a few things about you that it's like I would probably just be rehashing the old stuff. But I was thinking, I've actually been thinking the last few days. I've been looking at some of the old pictures from the videos, and I think we could probably go back and make some more videos, but maybe doing a number of hat tips to other previous real rock star videos. So there's that one picture that I have of the antique motorcycle helmet and steampunk goggles, and it's like those are reminiscent of the bad guys in the Aha video. And I was thinking, we need to go back and just do a number of hat tips because we have a lot of props, and we could go back and do a lot of hat tips to a lot of the old classic 80s videos. And
we're getting thumbs ups over there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So. But that would be a lot of fun, and a lot of people could look at that and say, oh, okay, this is kind of reminiscent of that, and some of your music is also reminiscent of a lot of the 80s music, where we can go back and say, not just make music that is reminiscent of all the other music from back then, but maybe do a hat tip with videos of trying to mimic some of these old videos in the past. So that would be kind of fun to try to reproduce.
Saying that, I enjoy that you still kind of do. You're still into the 3D photography.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit briefly about that?
Actually, I've got practically no money and time to divert resources to that. So basically, the only thing I have right now is a very crappy 3 megapixel camera phone. So it's like I'm taking 3D stereo images with that, and it's like for some people look at that and say, okay, that's actually kind of cool, but then there's others that say there's a lot better technology out there. So it's just a matter of time that I'll be able to get back into producing some really cool stuff in either 3D serial lenticular or just stereo cards, whether it be virtual or actual printed cards that you can see with a stereoscope.
Well, you definitely have a creative mind because, as back in the day, there was the picture of the Enterprise that you painted. That when you started off, it was like, but when you finished it, it was a wonderful piece. And I've seen you do other little pieces here and there, and I know that you have a talent and an artistic mind.
Yeah, I remember you saying that that part of the apartment should have been quarantined, and because it was done with almost all spray paint. But Andrew Probert is the name of the artist who originally did that painting, and it's like, so my rendition of Andrew Probert's painting. So I've met him once, and he's done a lot of props for Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. So, but that one painting, I still have it 20 to 30 years later,
wow.
and maybe someday I might get it signed by somebody famous. I don't know. Maybe even you.
Well, we'll see. But it was one of my favorites, and I guess one more question: Do you still have the the Elcar's original series? I remember you picking this prop up. What's the console?
Yeah.
Do you still have that?
Yes, I still have the console. It's still in my living room. Basically, it's a replica of the original TOS, like Season 1 console. So it's like the side where George Takei sat. It's basically, in the later years, it had a periscope type device that popped up, a 3D like stereoscope that pops up. And so it's a version of that, a before version of that. So, the prop was built by, I can't remember his name. Name escapes me at the moment. But the prop was made because one guy bought a number of items from Joe Trimble. Joe Trimble is the person who wrote the White House every day in regards to trying to save the great bird of the sky, which would be the Enterprise, and trying to keep that on the air as long as possible. And thanks to Joe Trimble's writing, and this person got a number of props, whether it be glass buttons and the original blinky light housing from the original show, which may have been broken and then reassembled. So that's...
How did you... was it somebody was just... take this before I throw it away, or
right? Well, there's a person by the name of Dan Studigen he builds props for the Children's Museum, and he built this console. So, and he bought props from Joe Trimble that were original to the Desilu Studios. So that's where those came from, and he also has a number of blueprints, and so they're actually not mine. It's like taking some liberties to rebuild and reconstruct and relight the underside of the console. But technically not mine, but it's been in the living room for several years now. So
well, still, that's pretty cool. So, well, Max, I appreciate you stopping by, and bye, Michelle. See you tomorrow. I just want to say that I'm glad that we're friends still after all these years. Yeah. And as you've aged, you've made a great Picard and a great Patrick Stewart overall. And as he's flipping through his phone right now.
Actually, I'm about to take a picture of us because I'm about to step out. I've got maybe about a little less than an hour left to. Little less than an hour left to get to work and be at my station.
I know you're a busy man, so just keep in touch, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll post this on Facebook.
Oh, cool. All right. Have a good one, Max.
Wipe off all my ears here. And wipe off my sweat from my hands. Okay.
All right. You too. See you later. All right. That was my longtime friend, Max, former roommate, and Picard look-alike. And... he's going to take another picture while hopefully Surlana sits back down. And we're live, and he's taking the picture, and there it goes. All right, take it easy. So here comes Surlana back. And maybe she can talk to us a little bit. So I guess you had your conversation with Skookie, or... Dookie, or what's her name?
What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, your sidekick from your show
Oh,
that you like
yeah,
to do.
yeah.
Hey, look. Gigi, I know.
Oh,
Gigi.
my God. Is it Gigi Rabbit?
Hey, this is not Shift Happens over here, okay? Come here, sit down.
Sit.
Can we get a... hold on here.
Might not be House of Pies, but...
Yes.
Well, we're going to make that happen. We're going to make that happen. Let me check it first.
Actually, I need the other remote.
Okay, hold on.
Come on, this is live broadcast. You know what? Tell you what. Well, let's take a quick commercial break of music, which I like to do. And you're listening to the SBU Network, and I am Spaceboy and Surlana, and we're in a minute going to have Gigi Rabbit come up, and we'll talk to him, a long-time friend of the show, and don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, we're back. It is Spaceboy Universe. I'm Spaceboy, and she's Surlana, and...
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, I was paying attention.
Yeah. What's new? It seems like every time we do a show, it starts off with, oh yeah, I'm Surlana. So, we have a special guest, a longtime friend of the show, and vice versa, is Gigi Rabbit. How are you, my friend?
Yo-hoy, yo-hoy. What's happening, everybody?
I cannot believe it. I looked up, and I immediately knew it was you. I mean, you don't forget the slackerness about you. And
hey, now be nice.
Hey, look, whenever I tease and razzmatazz people, it's all out of love, and we definitely like Gigi Rabbit. Now, Gigi, how have you been, man?
Fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. And I actually, really, the only reason I actually was not going to go to Comicpolooza, but then I saw you doing like Periscope or whatever. Yeah. Like you guys were here yesterday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, Spaceboy's going, so that's somebody. Like, I'll just go see if I don't run into him.
Hey, did you hear that? We're somebody.
So, I thought I'd maybe run into you guys, maybe upstairs in the video game area or something, but I didn't think to stumble across you guys having your whole own setup here. You got the whole main stage.
You came up like, what the?
Yeah, this is a full-blown rigmarole production here.
Yes,
Space Cadets.
We like, when we find out how the lay of the land is, we like to go full throttle on it, so... Yeah, this year has been pretty nice, and thanks to our friend Maker Dave and providing us the booth, and of course, we got the press pass to get us into areas that are naughty and nice.
Well, we got everything.
That's always good. Now, Gigi, I know, as they say, when a comet comes through the universe and it starts to shed off its mortal coil. We're like the shows from another show that has come off a mortal coil, and you have your own show.
I do, in fact. It's been, it's interesting how, we're all kind of growing together with our own different ventures and whatnot. And actually, you were some of the original inspiration for me to want to get into it. Because originally back, several years ago, the only thing going on that I knew of was Coast.
Right.
Coast to Coast AM, right? But as we all know, that's kind of lost its mojo, I guess we could say. And but that was the only thing I had. And then finally I heard Jimmy on one time, like, oh, who's this guy? He was talking about the Malibu thing, like way back when. He was probably 6 months into his show. So I was like, this is where it's happening, right? So I go into Fade to Black, I start getting around over there. Then that's when I discovered Spaceboy Universe. And then you were doing your show. The next thing you know, Dave's doing his thing. I was over there for a while. And then, it's really been it's all one kind. I mean, we might have separate shows and stuff like that, but to me, and different networks and what have you, but to me, it's all one big kahua. You know what I mean? It's just like, we just completely rule the weekends. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like family. You can
really
pick how it goes. You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family.
No, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your family.
But we truly are. You, Dave, Cortana, just all of us. We had a centralized beginnings, and I freely admit that Jimmy was our beginning, because like I tell the story is that when I heard Dark Matter Radio Network starting up, it's like, wow, okay, Art Bell's going to be on here, and I want to get get used to the people that are on this network, and then I heard Jimmy from day one, and it was like, this guy has got it.
Yeah, you can tell right away.
I mean, he's got a great voice, and the way he would talk to his people back then, it was just awesome. So. And as it went along, I, as a fluke, sent him a rebranding of his music. He liked it. He used it then. And then I created new music for him. And so I've got a kind of a cult following from that. And then, of course, I was just really religious on the Twitter. I mean, I don't do it as much nowadays because I'm, trying to run my own thing.
Yeah.
And so it can be taxing, if you will, to do that.
Yeah, you're running your own network over there now. You've got the Spaceboy Universe Network, SBU Network.
SBU Network, exactly. And, we do Reverend John Polk Show.
Yeah.
We produce that. And I'm busy doing Spaceboy music still on Fridays. And the first Fridays of the month, Surlana started doing her show.
Nice.
And then we've got Spaceboy Universe. And there might be another show unfolding soon.
Oh, boy.
So talk to us about your show. We could talk about Spaceboy Universe till we're blue in the face, but we want to hear about your show.
Well, thanks, man. Honestly, I really did not come here to promote my show.
Too late.
I do appreciate it, though. So we got our show, Shift Happens. We're out there on KTLK, the Fringe FM. We come on at Sunday nights. We just took Beyond the Strange as old time.
Okay.
So now we go from 9 to 11 Central, and then right when we cut off, that's when Beyond the Strange comes in on... that'd be 11 Central. He goes to like 1 in the morning or whatever. But, then we're pretty young, man. We just started doing it in January, and it was just kind of, we didn't really have a plan. We're just two curious people, and me and Cortana both on the same kind of page, just when it comes to everything.
I like how you phrase that instead of same age, like denoting that I might be older than you in some way.
It looks like he's 12 to me.
I've got the alternate universe beard pushed on. So that was the catalyst. You had an idea, you have a voice, and you wanted to put it out there for the masses to get your perspective on things.
Yeah, see, and it's funny how it started. It actually. Well, when it started is when 2015 at Contact in the Desert, and you two were out there as well. And I saw first time I met you, you had the spacesuit, which I noticed you got over here now as well.
Yeah, there's a theme somewhere out there.
It's paid for itself.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you were there in full force. I still don't know how you were out in Joshua Tree in that spacesuit, man.
He waited till like 6 p.m. It wasn't that bad.
Tell the true story about me sweating.
I actually saw him sweat probably the first time since I've known him for 11 years.
Wow.
I don't sweat usually.
Really? That's the exact opposite of me.
Yeah,
I
sweat
don't think
all the
he's
time
from
for
this
no
planet. I really don't.
But yeah, so after I met, after 2015, like a sealed deal. Like, this is my family now. Like, Fade to Black every night, and then and Spaceboy Universe is going on, and then Beyond the Strange started up. And at the time, well, I'm still running the company, Ether Vape, our e-juice company. And at the time, he wanted, Dave and Les wanted me and Mason to come on as guests. We kind of guest hosted the show with them, talking about, that was back when the Pepsi Black commercial came out, so we're spitting out theories on that. And then the last segment, it was just about our e-juice and talking about, all the pros and cons and all the jarble going on at the time. There's always something going on in the vape industry. And then after that show, Dave and Les were like, hey, do you want to sit in with us next week and talk about this? I was like, all right. And then it happened again the next week. And then after 3 or 4 times, like, hey, do you just want to co-host a show? I'm like, all right. And then that just and that was really easy for me because I didn't do anything. I just called in through Google Hangouts. They took care of all the producing and stuff, and
Surlana will tell you most of the times that's kind of like our show where she's doing the research and I'm like just listening. But
yeah, and then so yeah, I'm just now these last few months doing Shift Happens. It was quite. You would think, live broadcasting would not be as complicated as it indeed is, and it took us quite a while to figure it out. We just started going live a couple episodes ago. Before that, we were just doing pre-recorded shows, but it was actually kind of an accident. It really shouldn't work. The way we have it set up, it shouldn't work, but it does, and so that's just how we're doing it.
Well, that's good. I know that it's taken us to a point to get to where we're at now, and so
it's a little crackly there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the crackle out as I bend over here and figure out.
It could be anything because we're
but anyway,
we're on a strip down system.
Yeah, strip down. But yeah, it's taken us to a point where it took us a while to get that rhythm. To get we do have a kind of a. We do our banter kind of thing for 30 minutes, and then we get into our show. It's almost like the warm-up band, and then you got the main event. Yeah. And and I'm not going to lie, I've learned a lot from listening to Jimmy, and borrowing from that, and just making my own kind of thing. Yeah. And when we started to do the show, we didn't want to do just fringe topic. And I said, well, I want to do a show where we cover just things I like to do, and that's how the 6 topics ended up in our show, and which really kind of broke us out to be different from Jimmy. Yeah. We still had roots in the fringe element, but as far as all these other topics, it just opened us up to history and, of course, music, being a musician, and my love of pop culture and all the other good technology.
Video games.
And video games. Yeah. Man, I love my games. So, and I can't wait. Sunday, we're going to go upstairs and do some interviews up there with some of the indie games up there. Nice. But, you're at the beginning, and that's a wonderful time because you're exploring and getting to know how you can bounce off and forth between you and your co-host. Yeah. For us, we're lucky in the sense that we're a husband and wife team. So
lucky.
Well, I say that because our angst kind of marinates into our thing.
I imagine.
And so, but
he says what he wants. I say what I want. And today we still have to live together.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all good.
You guys really do have a really good dynamic between the two of you on the show, though.
Probably because we're married.
You guys really have. You found your own market.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. And you know what? I just watched that original promo video you have on YouTube, where you're in the spacesuit.
Oh, yeah. The different topics, yes.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. And
that
you know
was
what?
Fun to
The song that Jimmy uses for his intro music, which is the song that you made.
Right, Fate or Not One.
The one, Fate or Not One. That is the jam, man. When that comes on, I just get hyped, and then it kicks in.
The wonderful thing about that story about that song is that when I was writing it, originally I think it had a guitar part to it, but it didn't have what it became. And I was like, Surlana had gone to bed. I said, Surlana, come on, get up. I need you to hear this.
Drug me out of bed.
Drugged her out of bed. I said, I need you to listen to this. And and then of course she puts her 2 cents in. And
It was a good Spaceboy synth-based song, and it had the energy of like this is Jimmy, this is rock and roll, this is old school, this is Hendrix, this is Led Zeppelin, this is a guy riding at midnight at the desert with long flowing black hair on a white steed. You've got to dig deep into some rock and roll that's within you, and you're sitting in front of 6 guitars you don't pick up.
But the way she tells it, it's like as she's, telling the story, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah, rip my shirt off, grab my guitar, and like, and start playing this for the, the thing, and then the end result was Fader Not One. And
I said, "Now we done here? Can I go back a bit?"
So, but yeah, it's great because it really gets everybody in the mood.
Perfect.
And I was proud to create something for his show that really and when I gave it to him, and Rita was actually the one who replied first back, his wife, and said, Spaceboy, this is it. This is the song, and it's one of those moments I'll never forget because of what I created.
That is the song, and he's still going to be using that song 5 years from now. I mean, that's the song for sure. You nailed it, man. And it's kind of, Rita reminds me. I think I just realized, because Cortana is, she's deemed the empress of the known universe, whereas Rita is more like the empress of the unknown universe, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
Nothing goes around without
Rita knowing about it.
Yes.
Yeah, Rita knows all. Yeah. So, but and now tell us, how did it decide between you and Cortana coming together to make a show?
Yeah, it was pretty totally spur of the moment kind of stuff. It started with last year at Contact in the Desert, 2016. I was out there with Beyond the Strange, and I was running around with the same little thing. I got this little handy recorder here, and I was just running around doing rogue interviews. And at the time, Cortana had been, she started helping out with the show, an associate producer of sorts. So she was helping out with scheduling and stuff, and we had just met for the first time, and I didn't even know she was a part of Beyond the Strange until I got there that weekend. I was like, oh, cool, welcome aboard, blah, blah, blah. And so we're doing our thing all weekend. And then basically me and Cortana just kind of broke off and started doing our own little interviews with this little thing.
Okay.
And she was really good at shushing everybody and making sure the scene was, she was totally killing it as far as producing. And we just worked as a team throughout the whole weekend. And then by the end of the Contact in the Desert last year, we knew that we wanted to do our own little side show. We didn't know if it was going to be a part of Beyond the Strange, or if it was going to be our own thing or what, but we knew we wanted to do something then. And then, throughout some trials and tribulations over the next 6 months, we kind of stumbled. We had a couple of different situations almost happen, and some of it was there's actually a lot of drama going on at the time, I'm not going to lie, but the way it all came apart and fell through, I think it worked out perfect for everybody, and I think it worked out really good, and that's how me and Cortana ended up with our show, kind of as a result of the way all the pieces laid out, and it's one of those universe things,
Remind everyone what topic you cover or what you talk about.
It's definitely, everything metaphysical, occult, ufology. We're definitely into gemstones and crystals and just anything that's strange and interesting. Psychedelics, actually, we do. That might be what our show's going to be about tomorrow, a little bit, actually, in fact. But yeah, a lot of the same kind of late night tinfoil hat, if you will, sort of talk, and just anybody we can get our hands on that's just interesting and has a good story, like Richard Allen Miller, man. We had him on for a couple of shows. You've got to be you got to be ready to roll when you get on the phone. As soon as you pick up the phone, it's just a tsunami of information. It's hard to keep up, but if you can hang in there, man, that is one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my entire life. And he's been sending me we've actually stayed in touch, and he's been sending me little snippets of his book coming out, new work that he hasn't yet published, and it's like, this guy is seriously operating on another level. But yeah, it's really cool just getting to meet and getting to befriend some of these people that used to just be these unobtainable icons on Coast to Coast back in the day,
Exactly.
and now you're just shooting this stuff with them throughout the day on your cell phone.
There's two people that come to mind when I think about that, and that's Daryl Sims that we
Nice.
got to interview and got to go see down at a meetup in
Yeah, because he has them monthly.
yeah, and then also when
We
we
drove
talked,
down to Clear Lake and met him.
when we talked to it'll come David Adair.
Yeah.
And
That guy.
Yeah, it was like
John Polk talked
What,
to him.
what we loved about that is we got David on our show right before the wave, because right after he was on our show,
Coast,
it was
yeah.
like he was like this big wave of going on
Yeah.
here and here and there everywhere.
That was good
recently.
timing.
He was on John Polk's show.
I heard that.
Yeah,
that
and
was good.
So John didn't didn't notice that until I say, John, he was on our show. You should listen to our show when we broadcasted and kind of give you some ideas and stuff. And and then of course as producers we're in behind the scenes and we get to say, hey Dave, how you doing, and all that good stuff. And so it was nice, and making these connections of people you've talked to or that you've heard on Coast to Coast is really mind-blowing, and you finally get to talk to them and get to pick their brain and everything, and it really brings it home that, like, hey, this is really cool. I like this.
Yeah, and you always, because there's always, Coast is they're pretty good at doing this. They'll be, right when they get into something juicy, George Norrie will come in and we will pick up right where we left off when we come back from this commercial break. And then they get back, and he completely zigzags away from that, and they never go back to it. So now I'm like, all right, now I can actually ask all these questions.
We try to. I'll even write down where we left off, just so we don't
That,
lose track
and
with
then,
our
and then
guest.
and then we have this thing about people who come on our show that when we do the commercial breaks, is like
we have a bad habit of keeping talking to them.
Yeah, and so we try to create this rule.
And then they'll tell us some good stuff like
no talking during the break. If you're going to talk about it, let's talk about, did you have pudding for lunch? That kind of thing. And now we're back. So how was that alien abduction that you talk about in your book, and that kind of thing? So we try to make it a habit of not talking during our breaks.
Yeah. We've had a good experience here. We went way down here, and we found people to be on the show when we come back, do our regular show, and it's going to be great. I'm wondering if you would experience the same thing, or if you find people you might want to have on your show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime. That's
This
probably the other bit.
This is a treasure trove here.
Exactly. That's why I love doing, especially conferences that are. This is. You guys are perfect. Your show fits in right here, right in here. I would like to start covering. So I am a very big video game head for sure. Definitely when I was growing up, I can't keep up with it as much as I would love to, but it's definitely. I've still got a couple more stories, video game stories to call into your show about. Actually, I have been specifically saving them for your show.
Oh,
we're
One of them I
maybe
might
we
unveil
can,
here.
Tomorrow we're going to try to talk to people upstairs. Maybe we can have some indie gamers on, and we'll talk gaming.
But you've opened Pandora's box. So what is this gaming story that you speak of?
All right, this is for all whatever purposes, this is an alleged story. How about that?
Okay.
But so back once upon a time, the Xbox 360 was launching, right?
Right.
And I can't remember the date, but I was in high school, and so we were set. We were going to go camp all night and wait for this thing. We were going to get it. So
Now, before you go further, my story would set up like this. So there we were, camping outside of Sears Roebuck, waiting for the Atari 2600 to come out. So that gives you the perspective of age difference. But go ahead, Gigi. I digress.
Yeah, man. How about? Yeah. See, I was only in high school when the 360 was coming out. How about that?
Yeah.
But
you baby.
I am a little child. But so we're waiting out for the Xbox 360, and there was like 8 other people that were already there. We were 9 and 10, and somehow somebody got word that there was only 11 units that were being shipped to that store. Everywhere else we're getting dozens and dozens. We were only getting 11 at this one, and we were like the last people. One other person came up, and so we decided to start making up. We all banded together. You can make a movie out of this. So we all got together, just the most random cast of people you could possibly imagine. The old Middle Eastern guy in the trench coat, and then, you got the tech guy over here, the young kids over there, the grandma over there, and just a total random band of people. We get together, we're like, all right, we've got to fend off everybody that's coming, because not only was it only going to be, were there only 11 units, but it was going to be first one to the aisle to grab it and get to the counter. So even if you
like
were
Black
first
Friday.
Yeah, so even if you're in first in line, there's no, all
Guaranteed.
bets are off. So the goal was keep everybody away, and we had the story that they were giving out tokens, because I guess some guy had some experience before where at a console launch they had given out these little coins, so you didn't have to wait in line all night. You just came back with your coin. And so we all went with that story, and we got rid of a lot of people doing that. But then one guy, this is how the 11th guy came in, because he was like, "Let me see the coin," and we didn't have one. We didn't have a token. And so, damn, our thing is, he wasn't down to be a part of our thing, he was like, "Oh, you guys are messed up."
Odd man out.
But we ended up getting the guy to work with us, and I came up with the idea, dude, I've got a poker set at my house, 20 minutes away. They're like poker chips, they look like casino style. I'll go grab those if you guys promise you'll save my spot. So I have to trust these random strangers, right? But I went and grabbed my poker coins, came back and gave everybody a red poker chip, and we went over our little game plan, all right, let's do this. And from 1 a.m. to 5 and 6 in the morning, I mean, we were fighting off people like Keanu Reeves dodges bullets, man. It was we turned away hundreds of people, man. And then finally, around 5:30 or 6 in the morning, it was an hour or two before the store opened, the manager came outside because somebody called and complained that we were running this scam outside to keep people from getting the Xbox 360. And he was like, "I can't believe you guys could even come up with this." But he was like, "You know what? If you guys were able to turn away all these people this whole time, then power to you. If you can keep getting away with it, then go ahead. I'm not going to say anything." So he just turns his shoulder, and there we are. We just kept fending off people the whole rest of the morning. But then it got so overwhelming right the last 10 minutes. There was an extra 10 or 15 people that we didn't have time to verbalize that this made up story that they're wasting their time there. But it turns out right when they opened, he decided that the first 10 people would get the systems anyway. So all of our efforts were we were in line, and we would have got it anyway.
So you impressed them to a point where, hey, I guess since you did all this hard work, but that's an awesome story. I was hoping, did you get the Xbox kind of?
We did get it. For a second there, it looked like one of us wasn't going to get it, but I don't know if the guy was just bad at math or something. But yeah, we all ended up getting away, and we all high-fived and hugged at the end, and it was.
So here's my thing is, let's segue into something similar. Is the classic Nintendo, the NES that they were pushing out there that had 30 quality games.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that.
Now, here's what really gets my goat, and I wished I had my sound effect loaded, is that Nintendo has decided to end production of the NES classics, and they only had a select few at certain places, and which you have a product that everybody wants. I don't know who isn't into retro gaming.
I think they did it on purpose.
And you're probably right. I mean, if on Best Buy, on eBay, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, they're going phenomenal prices. Now, I've heard the rumor in the scuttlebug is they're going to come out with a classic Super NES.
It wouldn't surprise me. And I think here's what's going on. First of all, with that classic NES, it's awesome, but it sucks because you can't. It's only those 30 games. Mm-hmm. You can't put other games into it. It doesn't take cartridges. That flap doesn't do anything.
Right.
It's just those 30 ROMs on there. There was one other thing I want. The cable is really short. Mm-hmm. If you don't have USB extenders, you're right in front of the TV, as far away from the wall as you can get it. You're right in front of the TV. But yes, cool thing. And what I think is happening is I think they planned it. This is my conspiratorial mind coming into play. If I were Nintendo and out to get everybody, what would I do? But so they know it's going to be a limited run. They knew the demand for it. So guess who probably owns all those listings on eBay? Nintendo.
Yeah. Great. Now, a little interesting factoid about that classic NES is there were a few modders out there that were able to add games to them.
That's right. I heard about this.
Yes. And I saw one, and they had a whole bunch of classic NES games they had put on it. Now, the problem with this is if you didn't flash the unit just right, what you ended up was with a brick. And so, the old term bricking, and there was a few people out there, but the few people that were successful with adding the classic games to the system was very phenomenal. So it's kind of sad that, that has gone away, but it has reinvigorated my want to get a Raspberry Pi and build my own.
Learned it, yeah.
Yeah, and do it that way. So
you kind of have a dream to do that, and then your second dream is to build a console.
Oh yeah, I want
old
a console.
School console, but with all the games.
With all the games in it, I've seen some out in the market.
And they have panels here
$3,000.
on Raspberry Pi on how to do it here at Comicpolooza.
So that's something I'm looking forward to slapping together at some point when I'm not busy trying to build the universe, and run the network. But I was going to say real quick, I think it's great that you're on, I guess, the Fringe FM network.
Yes, sir.
And I have had the chance to talk to Gordon Roop, not Gordon Roop. Don't get me started.
They're actually related.
Are they related?
We never heard back.
We talked about it last week on our show, or a couple weeks ago, rather. They didn't know that they were related until the Fringe started coming around and Gordon Roop was on Dave's show,
Right.
But then they kind of, I'm sure everybody wondered it at some point, but it turns out they started talking, and it turns out they actually are related, and they never knew it.
And we're talking about Gordon and Joe Roop. Joe Roop is who I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, very nice guy. He's got a really great sounding voice.
He's got some chops.
And
I wish I had that.
I like his approach to his show, Lighting the Void. And, the big thing out there is that one time we were going to be on his network.
I remember that.
But unfortunately, things didn't work out. But I've always felt like leaving the door open. I respect Joe. So, if you talk to him in your own time, let him know that there is no hard feelings, and the universe is big enough for all of us, and I still think that he is a great talent, and of course, even Dave is a great talent. He's still in my bumper rotation as promoting Beyond the Strange. So
absolutely,
I'm like this, Gigi. Unless you hear it from me directly, don't believe it, because there's a lot of crap that's out there in the podcast land. And
I had no idea there was so much drama in internet broadcasting. I had no clue.
It's crazy. There's a lot of drama that goes on behind the scenes, and I mean, I'm just like, I steer clear of all of it, man.
We just want to get on and have fun.
I genuinely do not have a problem with anybody, and if we don't get along, then it's either because you misunderstood something completely, or that's it. Or it's something, or it's some kind of misunderstanding. Like every single issue that's ever popped up has been a huge misunderstanding so far. But yeah, I mean, I keep up with everybody at the network over there, and it's all totally cool, man. And like I was saying earlier, especially for me, it's all, whether it's Jimmy Church on Faded to Black, or whether it's Beyond the Strange with the Fringe, or Lighting the Void, or Spaceboy Universe, or Quantum Hologram Matrix on the SBU. It's all one big family to me. We all came from the same roots, and it's that same spark that started all of us going, and whoever's doing what show now, whatever, it does. Everybody's cool in my book, man. And as long as you guys are sticking to your game plan, you've like I said, you guys really found your market, and you're doing your thing. And this is perfect right here in the middle of Comicpolooza. You've got the live setup. Wish you guys could see this. I'm sure we'll get some photos out there on Twitter.
Yeah.
But this is really cool, man. And
you will be amused about what you see on Twitter. Twitter. You will be amused.
This is only the second day. The third day, we've definitely got a Fringe-worthy costume going.
Tomorrow there'll be a new iteration of that.
The costume. Today was Monkey Man.
Yesterday was regular.
Yeah, regular
astronaut.
Space Boy. From.
We've been going down to NASA every day as a different kind of astronaut. Messing with them.
Shameless promotion. It's all good. So, but
I love it. I love it.
So, Gigi, tell our audience, which is kind of funny, which is similar people that listen to you, listen to us. But the ones that we're building, new listeners, which we've definitely been hitting our multimedia, promotions, and our numbers are growing.
Definitely.
Even recently we've practically doubled our numbers, which is phenomenal. And there's Kruger over there again, Surlana.
Who?
Krieger, Dr. Krieger, right there, Dr. Krieger.
Hey, Dr. Krieger.
He's shaking his hands like you don't care. But tell our audience how they can listen to you, when they can listen to you, all that good stuff. You know the social media stuff.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? That reminds me. Yeah, we need some more commercials for our show. And I've been meaning to hit you up. I want to run a commercial for you guys on our show. It's kind of originally I really did not want to do commercials because you know how like you got to find somewhere to just halt the conversation. You got to try to pick it back up. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, you do gotta run commercials.
It's more than just trying to advertise and revenue stream for your show.
It's an opportunity to get up and go to the restroom.
It's restroom time. That's how we look at it. It's like, okay.
He's like, let's go to break, and as soon as the music starts, like, running down the hall.
Yeah, man. When I set up for a show, I mean, I've got salami sandwiches and beverages. I got a cooler over here. Like, I'm definitely it's like going on for the long haul. But,
we've got that set up, and they're like, "Where's the cat?"
We
shut the door.
I had an old
always something.
I had an old mini fridge that we moved in the back, so that it's in our studio.
Move it in the back bedroom studio.
So we can. Okay, I don't have to go get. It's right there, mini fridge. So.
See, the only thing I've still got to. Sometimes I forget that mute button though. I'll take a bite out of a sandwich without pushing that mute button. Right on live air.
He's got the mixer board on his side, so I can't reach a cough button. So I just got to do what I got to do.
I generally try to watch, but mostly I'm more, I guess you could say, selfish in my coughing, trying to stay professional. At some point, I'm going to rig something up for her so she has her own,
like a little foot pedal.
Yeah, a little foot pedal.
Seems you'll have something rigged up where I won't even have to be there live.
Well, when Adobe comes out with that new product,
that scary product, it's coming.
Oh, have you heard about this? Oh, okay, this is good. Well, Adobe is working on a new product called Voke.
It might be Vocal or Voco, but think of Photoshop for audio.
Oh, I have heard about this.
Now,
this gets pretty crazy.
You know why it's scary,
yeah,
right?
It's very
what
scary.
It does is they take 30 minutes of audio.
That thing they did with Reagan, right? But on steroids, basically.
Probably even, it's phenomenal. And what I loved about it was that, you take all this audio, the Adobe product analyzes it, and then you can type into a text editor what you want it to say, and it could be
your voice.
It's your voice.
It's your voice. So you can imagine where you could take...
you doctor photos, you can doctor video, now you can doctor audio.
Especially when you mix the video, they've got that down, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it looks like George W. Bush is talking about stuff that he never actually said, and now you've got the audio side of it going, too.
They've even done Putin. They've done things...
I don't doubt it.
You talking bad lip reading or something?
Well, no, this is where you look at them, and it looks like they're actually talking. In the old days, they did the green screen, and they put it right here. But in this, it's digitally so accurate. I mean, think Princess Leia and Tarkin.
But they just did.
But it looks even better because they're actually using pretty much 90% of their body and just the lips. They're digitally, manipulating to make it sound like or look like they're an actual person.
I feel more like Professor Farnsworth every day. I just don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Yeah, I feel like there's a boundary being crossed with that I am not sure if we are fully prepared to deal with what could come from the misuse of some of this technology, and how are we going to prevent that from happening. But here's, we're just now, this is all being just now publicly announced over these last few months that they have these programs and they're able to do this. So guess how long they've probably been doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very.
I think
very
our show might
stuff.
go from Spaceboy Universe Live to Spaceboy Universe Live.
Question mark.
Question mark. Surlana, I don't feel like doing a show this weekend. Can we just type it out and record it? I mean, to me, the evil genius thing in me just laughs out loud to like, oh, this is so perfect, or even to record shows that have, well, you said this on your show. I mean, it must be true or something. But anyway, back to promoting your show and the social media. Give our audience all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah. So
no, it's great. We go on a tangent.
Yeah, that's me. But, so my name's Gigi. I co-host a show with Cortana called Shift Happens, and we were on KTLK, the Fringe FM, every Sunday night from 9 p.m. Central to 11 p.m. Central. And, for all of your fringe ufology conspiracy talk needs.
I love conspiracy.
That's where you can find us. Yeah. And we've got our archive of shows are over at Spreaker.com. If you guys don't know about Spreaker, that's I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of like my home base for everything, you know. And yeah, see, you got Spreaker Studio pulled up right there. Yeah, so but that's speaker but with an R in there. SPREAKER.com. Search for Shift Happens and we'll pop right up, and that's where Spaceboy's at also. So if you're listening right now, you're probably already there.
Yes,
so there you go.
So Gigi, thanks for showing up, and you know we still are going to do a House of Pie moment at some point, and then also Reverend John Polk said he's going to be coming this way. I can't
when
get
he sells his house.
Well, I didn't want to get too many details.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to jinx anything.
He's making a slow journey to California.
At some point, he's going to be swinging through Houston, and we'll all have to get together and do lunch. But we could definitely do the lunch before that, and all hang out.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. That would be awesome. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be here at Comicpolooza tomorrow, but I might be. It sounds like there's some awesome stuff going on. And also, yeah, I have no idea what's going on this weekend here, so I need to get the lowdown from you on
go get a program too.
Yeah, I still even got, the first thing I did, I walked around for a couple minutes, Spaceboy. So this is how I kicked off my Comicpolooza right here on Spaceboy Universe.
Well, as always, Gigi, your family, and we love you, man, and we love what you do, and it's just an extension of everything, and so we hope and wish the best for you and Cortana and on your program, and of course, and we want to make sure that it's out there, that we share that same love for Fringe FM. I wish, like I said, things could have been different, but we still love the programming, love the people that are involved, and we wish for them the best too, because if we work together and succeed, we all succeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And absolutely vice versa, 100% right back at you, man. We love you guys too, and I love your all show, and it's always a pleasure to call in or jump in your show whenever I can, and
yes.
It's always a good time, man. I appreciate it.
All right, well, Gigi, appreciate it, and you're tuned into Spaceboy Universe, and we're going to go to another musical break, so don't go anywhere. All right, we were just saying our hellos and goodbyes to our good friend Gigi Rabbit in the house. He has got his own show called Shift Happens, and that shift, not the other word, kids. Get your mind out of the gutter. And Surlana, you got your headphones on?
Yeah.
And yeah, that Coke looks good in your hand.
What?
That Coke looks good in your hand. My throat's starting to dry out.
I could get us some more.
Well, we're about to wrap this up anyway.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because I can't hear anything.
Yeah, don't worry.
It doesn't matter.
It
didn't matter.
The meter's going up and down. So this is day 2 of Comicpolooza. Some final thoughts for today as before we sign off on this broadcast?
Absolute success. It was a blast.
And we got one more day, so it's not like it's over.
I know, but we still got some more interviews with more makers if we can get them over here. Especially some ones I'm seeing straight kind of across from us. I want to get them on. And we've got some people coming to help us out tomorrow. We're going to send them out to Comicpolooza and do our bidding.
Yeah, to do our bidding.
Yeah,
Pull the strings.
More free
Pull
labor.
The strings. Yes, a good friend of mine from a former job who's a professional photographer, Danny, will be here tomorrow.
I cannot believe how many of your old friends, old roommates, old high school friends you've run into here at the biggest convention in Houston.
And yeah, it's funny. It's
and they just spot you.
Yeah. Well,
they call you by name.
I guess, I'm at my high school. Wait, Look, there's the first male Negan right there.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Hello, Negan. It's been a Comicpolooza of mostly women playing the part, but
which is awesome.
It's awesome, but he's the first male Negan that we've seen today. I know, I'm sorry, I'm getting excited over a male Negan. Go figure. But,
yeah. So, women, wear whatever you want. Be who you want. Go for it.
Okay.
Don't let anybody stop you.
No touchy.
No matter what your age or gender or how you identify.
No touchy.
Go for it.
So we'll be here tomorrow. Probably do some maybe a short live broadcast tomorrow.
Yeah, bright and early tomorrow. Yeah. Of course, this does end a little sooner tomorrow. And things are kind of winding down here a little bit, and it's getting close to the end of the day. But what fun, what time. Once again, big, huge, undying gratitude to David Burnett, coordinator of Houston Maker Fair, for allowing us the space to be here and to Comicpolooza as well.
Because without his generousness and his belief in Spaceboy Universe, this couldn't have happened.
Indeed.
Honestly, we would be Saturday roaming the village in our suit. And
he's already talking about what we should do when we go to Maker Fair in October.
I'm looking forward to that. I had a lot of fun last year. I was like looking behind us where we were last year because we were right there at the front door.
Yeah, because it's only Hall A.
Yeah, so that was great. Leo Phoenix, great guy.
He will be on our Saturday show as soon as we find a convenient time.
We're going to throw some times at him.
But he's saying he will come to our house, our studio, rather.
That would be interesting because we've never had anyone come to our studio.
Because I don't want to flip and clean the house.
Oh, yeah, the garbage has to be emptied
if we
out
could just do a thing where we curtain, because you come in, there's a foyer, and then we have another door we put up. You have to come in. If we could put a curtain on either side of that door all the way into the hallway so you don't see anything.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like we need to put the studio back into the music room and maybe move the music room back to the studio.
I wonder why you did that in the first place. It seems like you should do that. How much room do you need for your...
I don't need that. I mean, the back room would be sufficient for me to do what I need to do.
Let's make that happen. That will save my sanity. Although I probably still have to clean the bathroom.
Well, the thing is that if we do that, I want to paint that room and paint it.
Wow, you're going to mess it up, man.
How am I going to mess it up? I found a perfect painting device on Facebook.
Okay.
You know how they start to do these things, these advertisements on Facebook? This painting roll thing. It's a no-drip, perfect. You fill it inside the roller.
The key is you need to make sure the paint is well stirred in the can. The problem was I think the paint had settled, In our current studio, we also call it the murder room because he wanted it red, which was fine with me.
And
I
at one
like
time,
red.
it was called the Orient Room because it had Oriental furniture.
Well,
in it.
that's all gone, but the paint was gloppy and dripping, and it looks like blood dripping.
I know it was a rush job, but I'll be glad to consider moving, flipping that and
You're going to paint it black?
Paint it black.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and so guess what? The Spaceboy Music Studio and the Spaceboy Universe Studios are going to change places. We'll let you keep you updated as that progresses. So, but on that magical note, anything else we need to tell our audience?
I don't know because I can't hear me. I can't hear you. I assume we're going out into the atmosphere here.
Yep.
But,
so on that magical note, Surlana, say good night, Surlana.
Good night, Surlana.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Surlana. Executive producer is Surlana. Social media producer is Dennis Koch. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Mark S, and Bob N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Surlana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.